Rach is here with a lovely guest in the form of a business segue.
That's correct. It's time for the Friday invention slot, and this Friday, Lisa, I'm going to do a drum roll for this one. It's the radio. Now, I know the radio's already been invented, but today's invention claims to be the world's easiest to use internet radio. It's called the Q2. It's a 4-inch square cube with no display and no buttons, and the man behind it is Steve Reichart, and as you say, he's in the studio with us. Welcome, Steve.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. It's lovely to see you.
Now, Steve, explain to us, what gave you the idea for this radio and how does it work? Because from my description, it just sounds like a small square box.
Well, I was born just a bit about me. I was born on the year the Queen came onto the throne, so I'm 60 years old this year, and I'm rapidly turning into the Richard Wilson character, and I don't believe it. And so I get very cross, my poor wife, get very cross with inanimate objects in general and computers in particular. And I was been using internet radio, and the wonderful thing about internet radio is that you have over 17,000 radio stations.
Anything you like, can't you?
The downside of internet radio is that you have over 17,000 radio stations.
Yes.
And it's so difficult to basically to choose the ones that you want because you need a big screen on the radio or something. And much to my cost, that I found that having spent a lot of time and effort getting the radio stations, another family member can play with the radio and press a button, wipe them all out, and you start all over again. So I went to our design team and I said, guys, what we need is something that's easy to find the stations that you want, but much more to the point, is supremely easy to use. And then here's the really clever bit, that you can't mess up accidentally once you've done it. And our chief technical officer, a guy called Steve Prevett, who's quite brilliant in his team, and they went away and came back actually surprisingly quickly and said, hey, look, we reckon that the best, you wanted a big screen, for the radio. Even better, don't have any screen at all, which I thought was a bit strange. But they said, well, what you do is just connect it to the computer first, and then you can do it all easily on a nice big screen. So
it looks sort of like a dice in that you've got numbers, like lines on each side of this, rather very, what's the word when something's nice to feel?
It's a nice texture, nice sensation.
Tactile.
Because I've had a go with this, because as Steve mentioned there, he works for a hi-fi design and manufacturing company, so it's quite easy in a way for him. He went into his design team and he said, right, I want really simple, really easy, and as he said, they came back with this idea of no screen, no display at all. So he showed me how to use it earlier. You literally plug it into your computer, you go to the website, you pull up all the 17,000 internet radio stations, you choose the 4 you want, and you program them to one for each side of the cube. And I'll show you, I'm just going to put the cube on number 1, so it's sitting upright, and in a minute we should hear the BBC World Service should come on. I can see the little green light flashing.
They'll have turned all the computers off just to spite you next door.
For me? Oh, the little green light is not flashing now. Let me try. I'm going to try 3, the third side, which we've tuned to BBC Radio 4 Extra. It might be because we're in the studio. Oh,
there is a little bit of something.
And now the real genius of this, I tilt it forward or back to change the volume.
On Radio 4,
there.
Any questions?
Louder.
In the chair
tilt it forward.
Dimbleby.
Down we go. And then if we just turn it over to the next side, we've got it tuned into Radio 4 Extra. So I'm literally just turning it over like a cube, like rolling the dice.
Yeah.
And if I want to turn it off, I just put it face down. So there's no on-off button, there's no volume control. It's really fun.
That Steve and his colleagues have spent so much time thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
And what was extraordinary, and the irony is not lost on us, that the ultimate solution to thinking outside the box is, in fact, a small box.
Now, are 4 stations enough?
Well, that's a very interesting point, isn't it? Because out of the 17,000, 4, we think 4 is enough. And in fact, Radar and the BBC did some research that actually people really don't listen to more than 2 or 3 stations. So 4 is more than enough. Of course, we don't choose the stations. You can choose whatever 4 you want. And of course, you can go back to your computer and change them at any time you like. It's very simple and very easy.
OK, so Steve,
4 is more than adequate.
The big question, how much does it cost and where can we get it?
Well, it's only £90, including VAT, of course, at 20%. It's available for our own website, which is www.q2radio.co.uk, and from Amazon and from dealers around the UK.
OK, thank you very much for your time.
Isn't it?
It's
nice colours.
This one's pink.
5 colours, yes. Pink, green, blue, black and white.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Black is the one that's the biggest seller, but hey, people are conservative.
Well, yeah, I guess it goes with everything. Thanks so much for coming.
It's great. Thank you to be here.